then always setting that best example for yourself. Now, just because you set the best example for yourself doesn't mean that things can't go awry. Things can't blow up in your face. But it's not the explosion, it's the recovery. The old regime is falling. It's going with the wind. If you can't feel it, you should be able to see it. The old regime is the way we used to go about living, or to be a little bit closer to home, surviving. Means of how we survive, how we communicate with one another, who we fraternize with, where do we go to for information, how we take care of ourselves, how we take care of each other. All of that is getting flipped on its head. If we were the whole time on side A, now it's time for the B track. This shouldn't come as news to nobody that's interested in watching my channel. For the most part, I would assume that we're all here for the same reason. Kind of to stay warm in a way. A lot of y'all probably already noticed, like I have, how the people we used to call our friends or even our family, a lot of them is falling by the wayside, or at least are on their way. Now, if you ask them, they'll probably say it's because of us, the way we act, the way we react now. We're not the same. We've changed, and they're not wrong. We have changed, but there's a difference between changing for the worse and changing for the better. What you'll notice is the more and more we move away from how things used to be, you'll notice the people that won't be able to let go of those ways of thinking, the ways of getting by, the ways of surviving. They won't be able to let go of that shit. If you turn on your television or crack open your newspaper, or whatever means you get your news from, they're trying to set the table as if there's no option to be had. The only option to be had is their way or the highway, right? Now, we all know that's bullshit. We all know that's not true. We always know that the ultimate option is ours. The ultimate option always resides with the individual, the person that's making the decision. We know that. Everybody should know that. The problem is you have those that forgot that. You have those that put different ideologies above that. You have people that put the external before the internal. And that's fine. It's everybody's right to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And that's not no American right. That's the right of being a being. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. But those that are so entrenched in old methods of bringing contentment, old methods of bringing satisfaction, old methods of bringing happiness and joy, old methods of feelings of love. For those people that won't be able to adjust and evolve with the times, I'ma just say they ain't gonna want to be here. they're not going to want to be here. They're not going to want to experience. Like, remember when you were first coming to a point where you started to realize, or I should say, where you started to come into your own way of thinking. You started to rely more on your instinct, you know, than external outlets, right? There came a time where you felt alienated, or maybe you felt as if like you were the only one in every room. You could be in a room full of 100 people, but you were the only one. Sometimes you felt like nobody understood you. Sometimes you felt like you would rather keep your mouth closed than to speak, because as soon as you talk, it's going to be in contrast to what everybody else is talking about. The way you think is along a different pattern than everybody else thinks. You don't get from point A to B the same way other people get from point A to B. Remember how that felt? Sometimes it felt frustrating. Because you as a being, you're not here to be quiet. You're not here to hold back. You're not here to restrain yourself. You're here to express yourself. You're here to represent yourself the way you're supposed to be represented, the way you know you want to be represented. So those moments, they were difficult at times. But of course, we always know those moments are the situations that create the beings that we are now, right? Nonetheless, when we were in those moments and we felt alienated, ostracized, you know, what kept us going is us. What kept us going was our sense of positivity. What kept us going was our quest for knowledge, our thirst for growth, right? That's what kept us going. What kept us going was our want to seek change. And not external change. It was our want to seek a change within ourselves, an improvement within ourselves, an improvement that has nothing to do with anybody else, nothing to do with competition. It was just an improvement so that we can be happy and content within ourselves. We were just waiting for that moment. We were not even. We were studying. We were learning the blueprint, so that when the moment came, we would be ready, right? We were moving forward, upward. Those were tough times. Now with this shift coming, where everything is going from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom, the ones that we used to feel ostracized by, the ones we used to be alienated from, the ones that judged us for not judging, they're going to lose their minds. They're going to lose their minds. Because if you're not operating on the vibration to where what you're seeking is true internal peace and calm, contentment, and what you're seeking to replace those things is money, attention, women, men, physical things, cars, houses, vacations. Those things won't be as accessible as they used to be, as you can see. Those things won't be readily available for you to just access. So you're going to have to buy your time. You're going to have to spend time with yourself. I don't know the type of people that watch my videos. I can imagine it's the people that's put themselves in a position to use themselves as crutches. Put themselves in a position to understand why they think the way they think. Is what they're thinking putting them in the best position to be able to be as productive as possible? and as productive as possible just means staying away from negativity. And that's not externally. Up here. Not being your worst enemy. Finally becoming your best friend. Your best confidant. See, on this journey that we take, what I learn and what I realize and what I come to realize, it's almost like you're dating yourself. But it's the honeymoon phase, like forever. It's the oh, let me pull that seat out for you. Oh, let me open that door for you. Hey, let me give you a call. But you know, I was just thinking about you. Let me drop a note in your lunch. Let me bring you some lunch to your job. You didn't know it was coming. Oh, you need my help? I'm there in a beat of a heart. It's the type of relationship where you put that other person first. You put your best foot first. You try to have that best first impression every single time. Why? Because you want that person to see you in a particular way that'll allow you to be around that person for as long as possible. Because why would you be even doing this in the first place? Because what you see in that other person makes it worth it. The experience that you have with that other person makes all of those things worth it. And that's why I call it the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase doesn't, that feeling of bliss, like there's no other problem that could ever happen, right? When you're on this journey of figuring yourself out, and you're courting yourself, you realize that there's nothing more important than always setting that best example for yourself. Now, just because you set the best example for yourself doesn't mean that things can't go awry. Things can't blow up in your face. But it's not the explosion, it's the recovery. We're going to be in a day and age where self-reliance is going to be very important. We're moving towards a day and age where you'll be able to see the line between right thinkers and left thinkers. You see it already. Where your friends aren't your friends anymore. Your family isn't your family anymore. If you have a job, your job might not want you to come in anymore. You won't be able to conduct yourself the way we've all been used to conducting ourselves. The question is, do you think that's a bad thing?